Hello, hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to day 17 of our 21 days of gratitude. I am so happy and grateful that you're here, and I am so excited as per usual. I'm back from Boston. We had a wonderful time. It was up and down. I was taking my firstborn to college, and I've been writing all about that for the last few gratitude sessions that we did. So I know you know about that. And it was a very healing journey. So I am hoping and knowing and praying for you that the gratitude practice that you're doing is creating shifts and changes in your life. Now, hear me now, because this is really important. When these shifts and changes start to happen, there's stuff that tends to come up. So one of my favorite teachers, because you know my teachers are all my friends, Thomas Ashley Farrand, he made his transition years ago. But anyways, Thomas Ashley Farrand, Vedic priest, did beautiful pujas, ceremonies, taught a lot about how to use mantra in your life. Anyway, so he would talk about when you start to clear up your consciousness, it's like clearing up the pool, right? Clearing up the pool. So as you're clearing up the bottom of the pool, all the gunk starts to come up, kind of muddying the waters before it's clean. And so Spirit's been really speaking to me the last couple of days about giving thanks for these changes. And there's something about being in a state of gratitude for the shifts and changes, even when they're uncomfortable, that will help you and help me move through them. And so this is how Spirit speaks to me. Spirit speaks to me in all kinds of ways, but this is one of the main ways, right? It's through my book. So look, this is my book, Faith. I've shared this with you before by my friend Sharon Salzberg. She actually signed this, so I'm very excited about it. And then I'm going to show you the card that I chose, or that Spirit chose through me, because that's really how this works, and how it all comes together, because you're gonna love it. Faith began to grow. She's talking about her own personal experience, saying that if I open my heart and mind big enough to take in the suffering, then there would be healing, not because the suffering in itself is redemptive or healing. So there's this idea that that suffering in and of itself is the path, is redemptive. But she says, because of the opening I was cultivating in the face of it. So what happens is when we are present with our suffering, our consciousness begins to expand. And so one of the metaphors, we're using more water metaphors today, interesting. One of the other metaphors for this is that if you drop a pebble into a glass, I believe that this metaphor is actually in this book. You drop a pebble into the glass of water, the water's going to spill out everywhere. You drop that same pebble into a lake, you're hardly going to notice it. It's just going to ripple. And so it's all about expanding our consciousness. Now, Spirit is speaking to me right now. Spirit is saying that most of us want to push our suffering away, and we want to avoid the suffering. And that is not the path. The path is to lean in, to be present, to allow the suffering to ignite a shift and a change inside of you, yes? Because it's the awareness of suffering and the awareness that the gifts that comes with it when you expand the consciousness, the gift is in the expansion. And so I absolutely love this. She says, perhaps this is how suffering leads to faith. In times of great struggle, when there is nothing else to rely on and nowhere else to go, maybe it is the return to the moment that is the act of faith. From that point, openness to possibility can rise. Yes, yes, yes. Take a deep breath with me. Sigh it out. From that point, that is your point of power. Acceptance and presence is a point of power. The willingness to see what will happen, patience, endeavor, strength, and courage, moment by moment, we can find our way through. Isn't that beautiful? I found this book at a time where I really needed that message of faith. And I am knowing that you or someone in your life is also wanting that message of faith. And so lean in. lean in. Don't avoid, lean in, be present, and know in the presence that there is expansion happening. And in that expansion, we can give thanks for the changes that are happening at that time, because change is always happening. Change is the constant. One of the constants in our lives is changes. People say death and taxes. It's change, right? And death. Well, I don't really believe in death. You just move from one state of consciousness to the other. That's a whole other video. Anyway, and then I pulled this. Are you still with me? Because it's such good stuff. And we got the cosmic butterfly. I don't plan this, people. I don't plan this. And this is our message from Spirit. The message for you from this oracle is that if you... Let me start over again. I'm so excited. I'm just stepping all over myself. The message for you from this oracle is that if your life feels like it is falling apart, like I said, I don't plan this, then take heart, for it is falling apart to come back together in a new way. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? Whatever you're going through, take heart, it's coming back together. You are going through a rebirth, just like a butterfly in a chrysalis. The agony and the delight, the sense of dying and being truly alive can all be held in the serene space of your heart. Surrender into what you are becoming now, and know that what you are leaving behind is but a shell that once will have held your fast emerging new self. So the promise is it's gonna get better, and the practice is gratitude. And I just want to tell you this one story, because I got to tell you all my business. So while we were in Boston, my dad was there. I know everybody wishes they had my dad for their dad, or a lot of us do, because he's a great person. And, you know, he's still grieving for my mom. At least that was my perception. And so we were talking about it, or as I was contemplating it before we talked about it, as I was contemplating it, I realized how much he took care of us during that time period. So I was going through a divorce. I'd filed for divorce, moved in with my parents. This is what I mean about the chrysalis and the becoming. This is all going to make sense, I promise. And so, you know, I had financial woes. There's all these things going on. So I'm living with my parents, who live just about 5 minutes down the street from where my old house was. And, you know, the kids, we can go back and forth, and it was just easier. And I moved in, I believe, in October, and then my mother died suddenly from an accident in November. And so, you know, all of this pain, all of this turmoil, all of this stuff is coming up. So this was only 4 years ago, to be 4 years in November. And so when my dad sometimes talks about my mom, he gets verklempt, you know, he gets a little teary-eyed and stuff. And so my sister and I, because we love our dad, we're like, oh, he's suffering. Anyway, so I realized as I'm talking this through with my sweetheart and contemplating this, that, you know, in the midst of his pain, he took such good care of me, of my kids, because the kids would come over, and he's a good cook, so he would cook for us. When I moved out and got my own place, because it was just a temporary situation, and when I finally was able to get my own space, you know, he would come over, he would help me with the kids. He would cook for my ex-husband and my kids when they were with their dad, because he can't cook, and he was like totally overwhelmed. He took care of my sister. She would come over and just want to be with him in the house with my mom. And so it's going to make me cry a little bit. During our trip, I thanked him for doing that, because he was suffering so much, and I saw his energy, you know, because he never said anything. Isn't that beautiful? And so part of our gratitude today is, who is your spiritual tribe? Who are the people who support you, and who are supporting you now? During that period, I had my friend Sakata. I'm just going to give people a shout out. And my friend Heidi. There were two people in particular, and if I forgot anyone, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. that would text me and, just how are you doing? And they held me in a space of non-judgment. And if I didn't feel like talking, they were fine. They weren't offended by it. So I had this spiritual tribe. I had my wisdom woman, Catherine, who's one of my wisdom women, one of the women I go to when I need advice, my wisdom woman, Uran. So I had this spiritual tribe helping me, and I felt so grateful, and to be able to say in gratitude to my dad how much I appreciated him was just a total shift in energy, and he assures me that he's very happy. Anyways, that's a whole other video, and I don't want to tell you all his business, but that's how we give praise and give thanks for the changes that are happening. Spirit is showing up in your life right now. I am knowing this right now. Spirit is speaking to me. That Spirit is showing up in your life in miraculous ways through people, through maybe pets, right? Four-legged animals, people that maybe you didn't know that well, but are just kind of checking in on you and saying, hey, how's it going? Spirit is saying, open your arms to that, because that is part of the change that you are going through. Listen, people, I had a lot to say today. I missed you the last few days not doing this. So let's move into our meditation practice. And thank you for allowing me to share my stories with you. It gives me a lot of pleasure to do that. Anyway, we have things to do today or this evening, whenever you're watching it. So we got to get started. Feet flat on the floor, eyes closed. Chin tilted slightly down so that the back of your neck is nice and long. And let's take 3 ha breaths together. Are you ready? Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Beautiful. And in your mind's eye, let's just imagine that golden light coming in through the crown of your head. The light moves down the length of your spine, all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. The light fills the entire inner body. The light moves through you into the floor. Beautiful. The light spills out all around you, so that you are swimming in light. You are swimming in light. You are breathing in the light. You are exhaling in the light. You are living in the light. And this is what we are knowing, that the light is healing, is helping. We are knowing that we are going through this magnificent change and transformation, and that spirit, the power and the presence of our source, is showing up for us in so many ways, through people, through pets, through loved ones, through smiles of people on the street. That spirit is saying yes, yes, yes. And so knowing that we are so supported and loved, we can relax. We can give thanks. We give thanks for the changes. We give thanks for the evolution of consciousness and for the expansion of our consciousness. We give thanks for the little things and for the people in our lives. Even when they're well-meaning, we give thanks for them. We give thanks for our source. And we give thanks for the life that lives us and breathes us, and for the honor of being a human being at this time. We give thanks. And so relax now into your gratitude. Relax your face and your shoulders. Relax your fingers and your toes. And relax your breath. And just for the next few moments, just breathe into the gratitude. If the tears are flowing, let them flow. Let it all flow. Beautiful. Taking a nice, long, deep inhale. Sighing it out. Very gently open up your eyes, wiggle fingers and toes, coming all the way back to the room, and give yourself a hug. 'Cause I know you haven't been hugging yourself. Sounds so weird, but just do it. Feels good. And give yourself another hug. Just bringing all of that beautiful energy and gratitude, and reach out to the people who are supporting you, and just send them love, send them thanks, send them gratitude. Isn't that beautiful? Don't you feel so good? I know I do. I have one thing to share with you, and then I'll stop. One last thing, actually two last things if you can stand it. There are people who are adding to the problem, and they're not part of the solution. Okay, this came through, so I'm knowing that this is landing for the right people. There are people, when you're going through this change and there's lots of things happening, there are people who are supporting you, loving you, doing the best they can for you in the way that you will allow them to. And then there are people that are part of the problem. Okay, so Spirit's like, we got to start cutting some cords. You're in this energy of gratitude. You're expanding your consciousness. Let's cut the cords and let those relationships evolve. Let them evolve, let them evolve, let them evolve. Okay, so that's our message. The other thing is, join me for a live event. I'm teaching a meditation class. I'm teaching a class on healing toxic relationships. I know it's going to be awesome. So go to my events page, myjoycode.com/events. That's it. I'll see you for day 18 of gratitude. Namaste, my friend.